The mic is hot, the takes are real, Talin is here. Welcome to Said What I Said. From Hollywood to your headphones, she's bold, she's raw, she's Talin. And this is Said What I Said.
Said What I Said with Talin.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Said What I Said with Talin. Today's guest is Jaime Adler. She's an award-nominated actress who started her career in London's West End before moving to LA. And she starred in stage favorites like Les Mis and Matilda, and most recently in films like Anastasia and the YA thriller Karma's a Bee. And she's also a creator and an advocate for kids' charities, and honestly, just an all-around inspiring young woman. So everyone, please welcome Jaime Adler.
Hi guys, hi everyone.
So excited to have you here, and we have so much to talk about, so we're gonna get into all of that. Okay, we were first talking about this a little bit before we started recording, but we were trying to figure out how we met. I was like thinking about this the other day. I was like, I've known Jaime for so long.
So many years.
Mm-hmm. So was it like an event that we met at? Like initially I would say so, right?
Yeah, we would always kind of get invited to the same industry events, and I think just seeing each other's faces more and more, we just kind of got familiar with each other and stuff. And then obviously with Jasmine Whitley, we have like very good mutual friends. Shout out to Jasmine. She's an amazing stylist. We love her. But yeah, just through events.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And you, over the years that I've known you, you've just always been such like a sweet, down to earth, like humbled human being. And I'm just like always like her grace and like her presence, you guys, is just like, if you ever have like the lucky opportunity to like meet her in person, like you will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Thank you so much.
I'm really excited to have you here, and we're gonna dive into your whole journey. Okay, so let's get started at the very beginning. You grew up in London. What was your childhood like?
I had an amazing childhood. I'm very grateful. I have such a supportive family, I think, is the main thing of why I'm so fortunate, you know?
Yeah.
I definitely had a different kind of childhood than a lot of people think. So I actually grew up at an all-girls private school, which is in the UK. So it's actually like when you see the movies, it's literally what I was living. But my schedule was wild. I mean, ever since I was 6, when I was in Sound of Music, the UK tour, I would, wake up at 6 in the morning, and then I'd go to school the whole day. Then I'd play sports because I was involved in a lot of sports growing up and different teams.
Oh my gosh.
I'd like go on the train, go to the theater, perform till like 11:30 at night. This is from the age of 6, and then do my homework on the train on the way home, go to sleep at around 1, and then wake up at 6 and do it all again.
That's insane.
And I loved it, and I wouldn't do anything different.
That's like so amazing. I mean, to like start so young and then have that like enthusiastic feeling about what you're doing, I think is so great. It's like, it's almost like kind of you have that realization of like, this is where I'm meant to be. Like, I love this. And that's so cool. I didn't know. Wait, what kind of sports did you play? I'm like curious to know.
All different kinds. So I grew up a dancer. So I was in all different styles of dance, all the way from ballet to hip hop.
Yeah.
I was on the swim team. I was on the gymnastics team. I played netball, which is our version of basketball. And then I played rounders, it's like the UK version of baseball.
Okay.
I did so many different kinds of sports. And I loved it. I loved it.
That's awesome. Wait, that's so cool. I didn't even know that you danced as well. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
So you started in theater super young.
I did.
And you were only 7 when you played Gretel in The Sound of Music. Mm-hmm. That's insane. What do you remember most about those like early like stage experiences?
I mean, first of all, being 7, so the UK tour, how it works is that you travel all around the UK and you travel for weeks at a time. So I was actually 6 when I booked it, and then you do months of rehearsals because each show that you're in has like a 6-month run. That's how long the show is. Okay. And so being in all different parts of the UK, not only did I get to explore that, but I mean, I was on my own. So my parents would drop me off. I would go with chaperones, and then the rest of the kids that played the other Von Trapp siblings. And I would stay in hotels in between shows with these kids. And I just looked up to them so much as a 7-year-old that I was just living my absolute life. But I mean, it really taught you to be diligent, and it taught you to be hardworking. And I mean, just so on the ball with everything. And I mean, as a 6-year-old, I was leaving the airport with, you know, a suitcase that was as big as me. And my mom was like, what am I doing? I'm a bit nervous at putting my kid out there. And I loved it, and I wouldn't do anything different. And I mean, it's the reason why I am the way that I am today, because I learned so much.
That's amazing. I feel like you had like such an incredible experience with all of that. And like, I feel like the stage side, like not a lot of people like understand, but it's a lot that goes into it, like the rehearsals, like the fittings for it, you know, and like learning the music and also scripts. It's like not just one thing, it's a multi thing. You're collaborating everything together, you know, so that's really awesome.
Thank you.
Your mom was also a TV producer and a children's agent, so did that help like shape your path into acting in any way, or did you kind of like find that more so on your own?
I think a little bit of both. Okay. Obviously, she had that past, so that kind of was the reason why I got started. But I think my mom is a type of woman that just wants me to do whatever makes me happy and supports whatever. So she put me in my first audition at like 3 years old. I started out in commercials before theater, and she didn't really know what to expect and just thought, you know, we'll try it and see what she thinks. And as a 3-year-old, I remember my first commercial audition. I went in and I had so much fun. I wouldn't stop talking to the camera, wouldn't stop smiling. I came out and I booked it, my first ever audition. And my mom was like, let's just keep it going and see how it goes. But as a kid, like, I'm just such a people person that my first ever proper audition, you know, I went in the room and the casting director comes out. This is kind of a funny story. She comes out the room, she's like, comes up to my mom, and my mom's like, what's going on? Right. And this casting director goes, I cannot believe what your daughter's just said in the room. And my mom goes, like, what's this 3-4-year-old come out with? And this casting director had asked every kid, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you've got all these 3, 4, 5-year-olds that are going, I want to be an actress, I want to be a model, whatever they want to do. And I turned around to the casting director, I said, I want to be the tooth fairy. And I just wouldn't stop talking to her, and ended up booking that one too. And my mom was like, you know what, she loves it, let's just keep her going, and then whenever she wants to stop, if she wants to stop, then we can. But so she got me in that path, but I think it was really just me enjoying myself that got me through.
So hilarious. That's like such a like genuine answer. Like how
I just wanted to be the tooth fairy. I don't know, guys.
You know, like, and they probably were like, that's our girl right there. Like,
just genuine and awesome. Loves the craft.
Were there any moments as a kid though that you thought like maybe you want to do something else, or did you know it was just always going to be acting?
I think that I've always wanted to do acting. That's always been my path. However, I've always said to myself ever since a young age that I want to keep every door open and give myself all the opportunity in the world. And so I've always loved people. I've always loved kids. And so right now, actually, at UCLA, I'm a psychology major. And so just learning about behavioral studies, about people, and, you know, being that social the way that I am, I think that was always a passion of mine too. So I knew that I wanted to do something that would help people. I've always known my purpose in life is to help people in whatever way that is. Whether it helps, you know, people while they're watching a movie, I'm like, it helps them by, I don't know, releasing some sort of emotion by watching something.
Right, because they're connecting with it.
Exactly, and relating with something. Or it's just sitting down and actually listening to people and, you know, giving advice. However that may be. I think just keeping every door open is important. So
that's amazing. Yeah, I think that's such like a great perspective, like, to look at it, especially like being in this industry that we are in, it's like such a out here industry. In LA, like I think keeping the doors open and being open to trying new things and like experiencing new things for the first time that maybe you thought like, okay, I don't know if like this was something I'm like aligned with to do, but you might end up falling in love with it, and it might just kind of guide you towards your future career path that you never knew, right? So that's really crazy. So you obviously like moved from London to LA. So how old were you when that happened?
I was around 13, turning 14 when I properly moved. So I've been here for 8 years now, which is a long time. Yeah.
Okay. And the spark of that move was more so for acting purposes, or?
Actually, no. Not too many people know this, but I actually moved for my dad's job.
Oh my gosh.
So it wasn't, I don't think I would personally have my whole family move because of my craft, because I was working so much in the UK.
Yeah.
However, I knew that I had always wanted to live in LA, and my mum and I used to go to LA, like our whole family, my mum, my dad, my sister and I used to go to LA every holiday just to go and experience it.
Yeah.
And actually a year prior to me moving, I booked a movie and I was filming in LA, and I told my mum literally a year before we moved, I was like, I want to live here one day. And so I just, the timing of everything, there's always timing is everything.
It really
and so
is.
for my dad's job, that's why we all moved.
Oh my God, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
What was like kind of like the biggest challenge or like adjusting to like the LA life?
I mean, it was purely just a culture shock, I think, is the main thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say culture shock.
It really is just putting yourself out of your comfort zone and really starting again. I mean, you're an 11-hour plane journey away from everything.
Right.
I think the thing that was hardest for me was my grandparents, on my dad's side and my mum's side, they are the most incredible people. And I'm just as close with my grandparents as I am my parents. And so I was almost like going between houses with my grandparents' house and my parents' house growing up. So I think leaving them was really hard. But I think coming out here, just, you know, new friends, new school, just new everything, new doctors, new dentists, literally everything
is new, starting over
again. So I think just getting kind of involved in a new culture and finding new people. But I found my people and I couldn't be more happy. So
that's so amazing. I mean, obviously, like, it was like a culture shock, but how were the auditions like for you? Like, were they different, like, compared like doing them here and then back in the UK? Were they like different, similar?
It's funny because they weren't, but they were. So the audition process itself is exactly the same as how you would in the UK. However, a big part of auditioning out here was like bringing your headshot, bringing your resume. That's not a thing that you do in the UK. That's just not something that you would do. They would just have that automatically.
They just have it,
However, the industry has changed so much since me moving out here where, you know, it's been years since we've gone to in-person auditions. There's a couple commercial auditions where they're in person, but a lot of everything is now, you know, on self-tape. If you get a Zoom, you're lucky. And I miss that one-on-one with the
like
casting director.
In-person connection.
Seeing the personality, seeing how they work on set. You can find all of those things by literally having someone in the room with you.
100%.
So I do miss that aspect. But I mean, a big thing for me is the accent change. So I don't know if too many people know this about me, but, you know, when I first moved, every audition that I've ever been in has been American from the second I walk in the room to the second I leave to the scene itself, to me talking, everything. So that was a big change. I think that would be the biggest change for me.
Okay,
so,
wow.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like maybe like you like having like your like British accent like has helped you like in any like roles and certain things like that? No.
It's actually done the opposite. I've lost roles in the past because of being British.
Way.
Yeah. Wow. So it was just something that I learned it the hard way when I first moved out, and I had lost roles from it. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do American. Unless something kind of can be British, and I've done that in a Disney audition before, where I screen tested for a Disney show, and I went in there for, I don't know if you know Bunked on Disney Channel, but I screen tested for Bunked, and I did the same thing in the first audition, and I went in, I did the whole audition in American, and right at the end before I left, meaning even talking to the casting director in American, and right before I left, I was like, can I do it in my natural accent? And they had no clue what I was talking about. And then I switched my accent. And I did that for the same thing for the screen test. There was 20 people sitting in a table, me screen testing whole audition, then switched it. Because for that particular role, I could do British.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, I've been here for 8 years and I've gone for maybe 2 British auditions the whole time. So.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I always I've in the past with auditions, I've always gotten British accent, and I'm just like,
where am I?
I cannot do that. I was like, I don't think I could do that. Like, something about accents just like really no, it's hard. I feel like I would just like slip easily. You say one word and it's just like completely sounds different. It takes practice, like, for sure. And like going back to what you were talking about, like now everything is virtual and like we have self-tapes. I also like, I'm so glad that you agree with this, because I feel like a lot of people, they were like, oh, I love the whole self-tape aspect of like acting now, and I'm just like, I don't like that, you know, because it's like, you think about it, you can like redo it as many times obviously as you want before you go in and submit what you're gonna submit, but like something about like walking into a room with like that first initial, okay, this is what I've prepared, this is how I thought the character was supposed to be, and performing it that way, and then getting the feedback from the producers. Something about that feeling I feel like is so special and like nostalgic in a way that like you can't take away. And like in the acting process, like that's just like I don't know, like that was like
I do miss that.
the life, you know?
Yeah, people say, you know, oh yeah, I can do it as many times as I want, and that's obviously amazing.
Right.
But one of the biggest things that casting directors look for are people that not only have the talent to do the acting itself, but are good to work with, can take direction. You know, when you're in a room with a casting director, they can say, hey, that was amazing, let's do it this way. And, you know, then they can see you pick up direction, they can see how you listen, and they can see how you work. And I think that's always been my thing since such a young age, is that I know how to take direction. And I would love some like feedback from a casting director, workshop things, you know, really show that, and go in and show your personality too.
Exactly, because that's like such a big thing too that they look for. They're like, okay, we want to see what is this person like behind the cameras, the scripts, and all that kind of stuff. And that plays such a huge role with them deciding who's gonna get that role, you know? Agreed. So I'm so glad that you agree on that, because I meet so many people and they're like, no, I love the self-tapes. And I'm like, really? I'm like, I miss when it like we go into auditions, like that adrenaline, that rush that you get from it is like so different and
keeps
special.
You on your toes, and it keeps you trained.
100%. Yeah. So you've built such a strong foundation in theater, but now you're making your way towards like film and TV. What made you want to like transition to like scene work?
I think the biggest thing for me is just having so much experience in one area, in one avenue. I just felt like I wanted to transition that. So obviously at the start of my career, since the age of 3, I was doing commercials, and I was doing so many commercials and I loved it. And then I was like, you know what, let me do voiceovers. And I did a bunch of voiceover work. And then after that I was like, okay, I'm kind of done with that. Like, let's mix up and do theater. And then I loved theater. But then I'm also such a TV show watcher, and I love my shows, and I love just on-screen film and on-screen TV. And so I was like, you know, it's a different avenue, it's a different path, like let's do that too. I think a big thing about acting is being all-rounded and having that theatre training before film and TV. I mean, you can't get better training than theatre. Theatre is how a lot of people start out, and it's the best way to train. And it just really helps with film and TV, and being able to kind of go from a big stage, then dialing it back. It takes technique, it takes work. But it's great in the end overall. So,
that's like a really great way that you look at that, because like I don't think a lot of people understand, like a lot of these big actors, like they came from a theater background, you know, and it kind of like helps them like throughout their acting career, like kind of navigate and almost like try different things like in their acting like palette, basically, when they're like performing and creating things. So I think that's really cool that you came from like the theater background, like going into it, and like you definitely have an advantage for sure.
And you can
with
you can incorporate singing and dancing into roles as well.
100%.
I mean, that's how Anna Kendrick did it. I always think that Anna Kendrick and I had the same path. That's why she's one of my people that I look up to as actresses-wise.
I love that.
It's like she could use her theatre training into Pitch Perfect and into those roles and incorporate that.
Right.
And that's what I love. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Which role so far has challenged you the most, whether like emotionally, physically, or technically?
I would have to say, so I did a play in London at the Duke of York Theatre, and it was called The Nether, and it was a crime drama. And I was 11 when I did this. And the whole play, it was 18 plus, and it was set in the Victorian era. And I was the only child actress out of everyone. Wow. So it's one child and the rest of the cast were adults. And it was my first role doing an American accent. So for that role, I really had to dial into like learning the phonetic alphabet and how do I shape vowels and getting that accent down. But the script itself, the actual premise of the theatre show itself was, you know, it dealt with things like pedophilia and things that are, you know, real life things. And as an 11-year-old, doing something like that and training with actors that is so incredible, that was a big thing. And I was actually Olivier nominated, which is your equivalent to Tony for that role.
Amazing.
And so I was in the same category as Angela Lansbury, who is an absolute icon.
Yes.
And it was for Best Actress in a Supporting Role. So I think that play, doing that was life-changing for me.
Life-changing.
I mean, I had to cut off my hair for it. There was so many things that I did for that role.
Oh my
and it was
God.
incredible. So incredible.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds like a really like great experience.
So
I mean,
great.
and you did so much to like prepare and like kind of like get ready for that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, what are you working on now, or what are some things like coming up that you're really excited about?
Okay, so for me, so UCLA, I kind of mentioned it,
Yeah.
but I've just moved out, so I'm in Westwood, I'm a UCLA student, I'm
Yeah.
studying psychology, so I'm still kind of training, doing everything that I'm doing with acting, still doing voiceover work. I just did a loop group for Kind of Pregnant with Amy Schumer. It just came out on Netflix, so
Oh, wow.
doing some voiceover work, that's been really fun.
Yeah.
Obviously still auditioning, but I'm really, really focused on school. I've
Yeah.
always been academic, I've always loved my school. I graduated as valedictorian at school.
That's amazing.
And, you know, I just, focused on that. It's been incredible.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Are you still doing obviously like so many self-tapes probably?
Yeah.
In and out
I
for the
definitely think
season?
when you're in college, it's one thing where you kind of have to make those sacrifices while you're studying.
Yeah.
So I definitely think I've dialed back on certain things that I can go up for because, you know, if things are filming out of the country, I can't do that because I'm in person,
Right.
you know, every other day at UCLA. However, I'm still auditioning for things that I can do and, you know, filming in my breaks and whatnot. So it's been great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
When you like look at new roles, like what's like more important to you? The story, the people you're going to work with, or type of character?
That's a good question. I think all of it. I
Yeah.
really think all of it.
Yeah.
Like when my favorite projects to work on or my favorite projects to even just audition for are the ones that not only have great characters, but they have amazing producers, directors. I think you are who you meet, and you can get so inspired by people on set. And I've worked
Absolutely.
with some incredible people in my life,
Yeah.
and you know, so I've done some incredible characters as well. I think all of it, just everything overall, I think is exciting. Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think too, like getting to know, you know, kind of like those people, but also just like even meeting them, like you can really get inspired by like the actors around you
really
and kind of
can.
like almost like say you guys are starting a project, like for instance, you know, like obviously the chemistry might not click like right away, but like over time it can, and you can kind of bounce off ideas or different interpretations of how you want to like now pursue this character just from the people around you. And I think that's like so beautiful like in the acting industry, because like a lot of people think, oh, you know, like these people are coming in prepared to play this character a certain role, but I don't think a lot of people understand is like most of the time once you're on scene, once you're on project, the character's kind of like evolving as you like meet these other people.
Yeah,
and
you
like,
bounce off of each other. And I think the main thing is sometimes you read, I always say this, and people like, some people agree, some people don't, but I think that, you know, when you meet someone and before you go on set, you could read a script, and I could read it with my boyfriend or my mum, and I read it a certain way with one person and it sounds a certain way, and then you go on set and you read it with someone else, and the way that they act makes you react in a different way. So it could be completely different with me reading a scene with you compared to reading a scene with someone else, and that is the most amazing thing about acting, because that's genuine and it's authentic, and I think you see that on screen.
100%. Yeah. Do you ever see yourself like exploring other sides of the industry, like maybe writing or like directing like down the line?
Definitely. I mean, during my gap year of college, I interned at a production company, and it was female run. And I mean,
That's
it was
awesome.
incredible, and I loved it. And I would love to do producing or do something like that, because I think a big thing in acting is you have to understand the other side of the camera as well.
For sure.
And that's why even at UCLA, I got a choice of one elective, and I chose like a film and TV global development class. Because you get to learn about different things. And I think that's so important to be a well-rounded actress to understand that other side as well.
For sure.
And understand why they're deciding to do things that they're deciding to do, I think is a big thing.
Absolutely. I feel like some of the best like actors and actresses like of this time, like they are so well rounded in that. Like they can not only
1000%.
act, but like they can produce, they can write scripts, like and direct. And I think that's so cool. And like especially like when you're working on a project down the line, like you kind of like you're now the production, what is it? I'm missing the words, but kind of like you're the producer, and like you are like co-director, and you see that on the screen. Like not only like are you the actor,
You get all the
know,
credits,
and you get all the credits, and I think that's really, really awesome.
So cool.
Yeah. So besides acting, you've built a huge online presence with over 2 million followers across all of your socials. How do you balance being a creator with everything else that you do?
I mean, it's one of those things where I just really prioritize, I think is a big thing. It's like, you know, prioritizing work and then obviously keeping a balanced life to keep yourself sane, I think is a big thing.
Oh my gosh,
because this industry can take a mental toll on a lot of people, and I think it's good to kind of embrace the people around you as well, and trust in your journey. But I think just learning to juggle things and don't procrastinate on work.
Yeah.
Because you might think that you're free tomorrow and then you could book something the next day. Or, you know, you might think you're free tomorrow and then get a project you have to do.
Yeah.
So just get the work done as soon as you get it, I think is my main thing. And keep a list. I'm a very type A sort of girl.
I'm type A.
I have to write everything down. A lot of people have their, you know, phone to-do list.
Yeah.
Not me. I have my book that I carry around. My mum is the same way. Like mother, like daughter. And I'm so glad that she is like that. But also, it's okay to ask for help. I think that's a big thing. It's like, you know, it's so hard to do everything on your own. That's why we have teams. That's why we have, you know, brand deal managers or, you know, supportive parents or supportive friends or just guardians in general. Like, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that's so, I'm glad that you said that, because I feel like, especially in the social media world, like it's very easy to just kind of get like, you know, not over consumed with everything, but like overwhelmed in the sense of just like you're taking on a lot, you know what I mean? And you're constantly filming, constantly creating and coming up with ideas, and it's all just like a lot, you know, and sometimes you need help like to kind of help balance it out and like take some of that like stress away, you know. So I think that's really important that you say that.
I agree.
What platform like kind of feels more natural for you, like Instagram or TikTok?
I think every platform kind of has a different content for me. So, you know, I feel like I try and kind of spread myself widely above all different platforms. Yeah. But I think, you know, Instagram is more of, you know, if I go to screenings or events, it's professional photos. If I work with dress companies or jewelry companies, I've been so lucky to work with some incredible people that, you know, reach out to me because they've seen me in Rome wearing a dress or they've seen me traveling here wearing a dress. And I really work hard on those things and enjoy what I do. So I think on Instagram, it's more professional stuff like that versus TikTok, it's more vlogs. Like school, I've been posting UCLA vlogs, been really enjoying it. But I try and kind of keep my Instagram genuine too, of like a bunch of different aspects of my life.
Yeah,
so I think everyone, it's more lifestyle content, I think, is the best thing. Yeah, dances with my friends, just enjoying myself. I will only ever post with people that I really, really enjoy myself with, because I think you can see that through the screen. And people have told me before, it's like, I can tell that every person that you put out, you enjoy your time with. And I think that's a big thing about keeping things genuine, you know? Yeah.
Do you ever feel like, I feel like for me too, like in the past, I've always had this thing of thinking like, oh, like I need to keep more of like my personal life like kind of separated, like off of social media. Do you ever like feel like that, or are you more like open and like vulnerable like to your audience?
I think a bit of both. I would say everything that I post, sometimes I'll post kind of more emotional content, but I want people to know that that's okay. You know what I mean? I think you only kind of see 10 seconds of someone's life.
Right.
And you don't see anything else. And so I definitely think keeping certain things private is great, but everything that I post, like I want people to see, you know, my happy times and my sad times. So I think I'm a little bit more open when it comes to stuff like that. Yeah. Only, you know, with friends that maybe don't want to be online, like school friends, I'll keep that kind of separate. Yeah. But I mean, apart from that, everything that I share, I want people to know that, you know, things aren't perfect 24/7, but we'll all get through it together, I think is the main thing.
Yeah. I think like this generation of like social media influencers have gotten so much better with that. Like really like opening up and like sharing their personal experiences and just like whatever they're going through like in life. And I think that's really great, because like I said before, in the past I feel like it wasn't really like that. People were kind of more guarded and, you know, kind of kept things offline. Of course, yes, everyone has like their own privacy, of course, but like being able to like share that with the world, and like it touches people, like because they know like, okay, this is a genuine real human being, like they're not just some social media content creator, like this is a real human person that has feelings, emotions, goes through things, you know. So I think that's really great that like our generation is like doing that, and I'm like really happy like that. I've tried to kind of keep
you know, giving people advice online to the point where I even, you know, there's a couple followers of mine that reach out to me personally that I private message, that ask for advice, that I'll message back. And even some friendships that I've made. Like there's one of my followers and amazing supporters, Bryony. She's based in the UK, and whenever I go, I see her every summer. And she goes through a lot in her life, and I'm so proud of her. And just creating those personal relationships with some of, you know, I don't like to call them followers, but some of my supporters is, you know, it just shows me that what I'm doing is okay, and it's good, and you know, I should be doing what I'm doing, I think. And it just makes me happy because I can have those personal relationships as well, you know?
Yeah. I mean, getting like that feedback too from like audience people or fans or whatever it is, like that's also really touching, you know, like knowing that you're connecting, you're changing someone's life out there, you're impacting them, like it's huge. And I feel like as influencers too, that makes us just like feel so much more,
it's so fulfilling.
You know, it's a fulfilling moment,
fulfilling.
You know, knowing that our stuff is really connecting with people out there.
What we do,
you know,
what we do. It's why we do what we do. You know.
Yeah. I feel like some people like kind of get the narratives mixed up of social media too, of just like, oh, they're just doing this for brand deals and for money and fame. But it's like no, like we genuinely love what we do. We love coming up with content. And half the time, sometimes I feel like the content we come up with too is like more so not even set planned. It's more just like natural, organic, like what's going on, and that content always does like so well compared to the stuff that you kind of like set down, maybe like practice or like kind of plan out, you know. So you've accomplished so much at like a young age, and like looking back, like what lessons have you learned about yourself through it all?
I think that a big thing is just believing in myself, I think is a thing. I think everyone goes through so many different things, and I am such a perfectionist, from kind of being in shows like Matilda where you would train for 10 weeks and, you know, they used to make us run around in circles singing and do push-ups while we're singing and such intense training that I had become such a perfectionist. And really breaking that barrier down and being vulnerable of like knowing that I am and trying to kind of change that and know that there isn't such a thing as perfection. It's like a big lesson that I had to learn. It's like self-doubt, you know, thinking things like that, like you don't have to be perfect, just being you is enough. And I think a big lesson is that, and just kind of juggling everything that I'm doing and just like teaching myself that, you know, you're going to also go through so many different people in life and, you know, in this journey. And I've met so many incredible people, and I've also met people that I've learned lessons from, and I know what to take and what not to take. And I think that's a big part of our industry as well, as having thick skin, tough skin, but also being honest with ourselves and only surrounding ourselves with people that will lift us up and that, you know, have good energy and applaud yourself when you're up, not just, you know, when you're down, you know. 100%. So just all these things, I think, just make us who we are today. Absolutely. And I know you're also like so passionate about like giving back, and you've supported so many groups like California Kids Belong and St. Jude's. Why are those causes like so important to you? Oh, they're incredible. I think just, again, like I kind of said in the beginning, like I know that my purpose, whatever I decide to do in life, is to help people. I've always known that. And these organizations are incredible. I mean, California Kids Belong, sadly it's not running anymore because they need the funding. So I'm hoping that we can get it back up and running again. But, you know, I work with foster kids. And so when I'm not in school, when I'm not acting, and, you know, that's what I would do. And you know, that's also why social media is so great too, is that not only was I working in person with these kids from the ages of, you know, literally 4 till the ages of 17 when they're about to leave the foster care system, but I got to work with them in person. And what we did was I Belong projects, which are basically like helping them through film. So instead of someone that's looking to adopt a child that's just, you know, handed a piece of paper, like the kids, you know, got blue eyes and brown hair, you know, or they have this amount of sibliings, they actually get video diary entries that we film that we'll interview them about. They'll get videos of them, you know, I'll sing with them, I'll dance with them, I'll draw with them. And I've worked with so many different kinds of kids, and also not only volunteering and being an ambassador for them, actually posting about it. And I mean, the social media, like bringing awareness to it through my platforms has been one of the main reasons why I love having a platform, because I can truly help people. I mean, there was a sibling trio with 3 kids that wanted to stay together. I mean, they were such the age gap was so big, and fostering one kid is hard enough, let alone 3 that want to stay together.
Right.
And I posted this video, and they were adopted through someone seeing this video. And it gives me goosebumps, because it just makes me so happy that you can use the platform. Why would you not use it for good if you have it?
Absolutely.
Same with St. Jude, like, you know, they're incredible, like, working with these kids. And I've been involved with groups that we've raised over $50,000 that's, you know, combining Nickelodeon kids and Disney kids and theatre kids, and we're all performing to raise money, or, you know, we're doing live fundraisers on Instagram. There's so much you can do. It's just finding out about it and doing it.
100%.
But they're incredible organizations, both of them. So yeah.
How old are you again, Jamie?
I'm 21.
Just to like see where you are, like at your age, how caring and loving you are, like it means so much. It inspires me as well,
really
just hearing you like talk about that. Like you can tell like the genuineness and love that you have.
I love it.
And it's so beautiful. Like I just like can't wait to like see you do like more things and help more people. And I think it's so beautiful and special what you have, and like we need more people like you in this world, you know, to just like touch other people, because there's so much going on, you know. And like being able to connect with someone and kind of like share this like love is just so special, and like we need more of that like in this world. So I just like genuinely like applaud you for that, and like so much grace like towards you, like giving you your flowers. Like I appreciate it's that. Really touching.
I'm proud of
like,
you too. You're killing it. Look at this. You're killing it.
Thank you. Of course. Thank you. Would you ever like want to combine like one of your acting stuff like with your advocacy of like work like down the line, like maybe through like a role or like a project or something?
1000%. I think is the best answer. I think anything that can raise awareness for charities, whatever organization or charity they may be, to get more eyes on something and to help people, I'm there, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. I love that. So obviously we talked a little bit about you starting at UCLA, and you said your major was psychology?
Psychology major, yes.
Okay, so how do you plan to like balance all of this like school and acting? I know we talked a little bit about it, but that's so exciting, because when I was doing community college, I started as a psychology major as well before I switched.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's so cool. So it's kind of, you would say like all of that kind of got inspired just because of your love for like wanting to like help people, right?
Yeah. It's just talking to people. I've always been the kind of therapist friend growing up. I've been through, I think especially because of this industry, I've been through so much at such a young age that I feel like I've kind of been through a lot of the situation, so when they come up for people, I can talk to them, you know? And so I've always been interested in just like talking to people. I'm also interested in like, I've taken a lot of neuroscience classes, just learning about like the patterns in the brain, why people think and do the things that they do, and just kind of being able to relate more with different people on that like psychological level, I think is really cool. Just academically, something like that would definitely be on my radar. So
I remember like some of my psych classes that I took to like the first year, like you don't realize like how much like a human brain like processes and like really thinks about things until you're in one of those classes and they're like breaking everything down for you, and I'm just like,
these are the logistics.
Wow. I'm like, this is crazy. But it is so cool to like learn about those things, and like also just like being able to use that like out in the real world and like maybe help someone, you know, that might be going through something, and you can just kind of like see, you know, a little bit differently and kind of understand and like be able to like help them navigate through it, you know? So I think that's like really, really cool. And that's so funny that like we had like the same thing.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah. Do you like see school as something that kind of adds to your creative journey, or as like a separate path like you're exploring?
I think that it's a mixture of both. I think that having a school background, constantly reading, constantly learning about people is helpful for acting. But I also think that it kind of opens you up to so many different opportunities as well. Kind of like I said in the beginning of, you know, you have so many doors. And also like when one door closes, another door opens, whether that be in a different field or that be the same field. It's like timing is everything. And, you know, just keeping myself open to doing different things. Having a bachelor's in psychology at UCLA, you know, you can go into, you can do grad school, you could go and intern, you could go start working straight away, depending on what you want to do. There's so many different fields you can go into. You could do production and acting, or you could go and do social work or do, you know, have a career in education. There's so much.
Yeah.
And the possibilities are endless. And I wanted to give myself that opportunity, I think. Yeah.
And I think that's awesome that you did that. And, like, you have such an open mind,
Thank you.
looking into everything because, you know, like the acting industry, it is tough, you know, and like not everything is always guaranteed,
sparse,
you
it's
know.
hard, yeah.
Like we go on so many auditions, we get so much more rejections than yeses, you know, and like processing that and like still finding a spark in us to keep us going is definitely hard. So I kind of want to talk to you like a little bit about that and like, you know, was there ever like moments that you felt like, okay, I've gotten so many rejections from these jobs, so is this what I meant to do? Like, did you ever feel like you doubted yourself, like, ever, like, once through it, or?
I think everyone in the industry, even the A-list actors and actresses, have always had that one moment, or maybe even a couple moments of people that, you know, of doubting, not doubting yourself, but just almost, like, doubting your path in the industry, I think.
Yeah.
Because I've never doubted per se my profession, just because I'm so trained and I've been so trained at such a young age, and I put so many hours of effort that I know that energy and that hard work will come back to me whenever it's meant to, you know, throughout my life. But I definitely think there's been moments where it's been really difficult. I think especially being so young in the industry as well. I think now that I'm older, I kind of have that all-round perspective of this is how the industry is going to be. And, you know, keeping yourself sane by doing so many different things and not just waiting for auditions to come around. That's why social media is so amazing. I can do brand deals. That's how I, you know, with school, that helps with everything. But I think in the acting industry, 1000%. I mean, I remember I was 10 and I had gotten down for this role in this big Christmas Hallmark movie. And I mean, it was beautiful with these long dresses and snow, and it was like my favorite role and I loved it. And I was, you know, the director's favorite and the TV show and all this stuff. And I got right to the end and I was 10, and it was like Disney princess. You just wanted to be a princess, right? And so I was like ready for it. And then I ended up looking too much like the nanny that then marries the father afterwards versus the father. So they casted a different girl that had different hair color than me, was a lot fairer than me, and completely different look. And I just remember breaking down crying. I was so upset because I wanted it so bad. And my mum came in my room and was like, let's go get some chocolate, let's go watch a movie and start again tomorrow. And I'm so glad that she did that, because that really was a turning point of like, that wasn't meant to be my role. And then a couple months later I booked something else.
That's awesome.
So when one door closes, another door opens, however that may be. Maybe it's years later, maybe it's months later, but you got to hang in there to find out.
100%. I think that's one thing about that, is you have to like hang in there to see, because you never,
like
marathon.
You say, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
No, 100%. And you just never know like when your moment will come, and you just got to keep working and just be prepared for that time, you know?
For sure.
What like genres or like dream roles are like kind of on your bucket list?
Ooh, good question. I definitely think I'm such a horror movie girl. Which might come to a surprise for a lot of people. I don't know. Maybe it won't. But I love horror movies. I love acting and dramas. I love horror. So either that, or I would say maybe doing something like a coming of age movie would be really fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're two completely different things.
But
then I could also say that I would love to do comedy, because I actually haven't done that in my industry, because I think a lot of the stuff that I was working on back in London, being Casualty and Damned and all those shows were all drama. So maybe a sitcom. I don't know. There's so many different paths. It's just keeping my options open, I guess.
Yeah.
See what happens.
I love that. The horror movies. That's so.
I love horror. I love thrillers.
Horror.
I love
it.
But
that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So we're gonna do our little rapid fire segment. So I'm just gonna ask you a bunch of quick questions or so.
Okay.
So the first one, what's the oddest audition you've ever had?
The oddest audition. Let's think. I had an audition once where I did the script, and then I was in person and I was doing a workshop, and the casting director looked me dead in the eyes and goes, "Can we do the script but without talking?" And I was like, "Do this." She goes, "I'm going to do the lines and you react to what you would say but don't talk." And it was the oddest yet the most helpful audition, because it really shows you, like, they're looking at the way you react.
Right,
and
that's a big thing.
Your eye contact, your gestures, like everything that you're doing. So it's the oddest, but probably my most fun audition yet, I would say.
Yeah. You're like, okay, let me just deliver that with no lines. Okay, sure. Let me do that. That's so cool. But I feel like that's probably like such a good learning experience.
It's so good.
Because like you don't think about it, like your facial expressions or like reactions are really important.
Well,
in,
acting is
things.
reacting.
Yeah.
That's why casting directors watch your
sure.
tapes. Sometimes like casting directors will watch your self tapes with no sound. I don't know if you know that.
No.
But a lot of casting directors, they watch it without sound, and if you can keep their attention, then that's a good thing. Yeah.
That's a good tip and trick out there for everyone. Like,
watch your self tapes without
I didn't even know that they do that. Like, without sound is really crazy.
They do crazy stuff nowadays.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's gonna be next? They'll have our like eyes shut. Like, I don't even know. Like, it'll just be crazy. If you weren't acting, what would you be doing right now?
If I wasn't acting, again, kind of the psychology route, I'm trying to think of what other things. I don't know, to be honest.
Maybe something like completely like random that you've never even thought about doing, like a career that you would be like interested in pursuing. Just like,
I feel like I'm thinking of something. It's not a career thing, but I don't know. This might be a fact that not too many people know about me, but I am trained in Shotokan karate martial arts.
No way.
And I was 1 grade away from a black belt, but then when I was about to take my black belt test, COVID hit, and they shut down the dojo, and then I moved to LA from Newport, because I was in Newport at the time for a couple of years when I first moved. I was like Orange County based.
Yeah.
And when I moved, they were like, well, you have to start again. So I never did. So then I went on to boxing. So maybe something like to do with like martial arts, like route. But that's not it could be a career thing, but for me, like, I don't know, something random.
That's like really cool. I've always wanted to like do some sort of like martial arts, just to like, or like learn some like self-defense classes.
I was gonna say TV combat,
like
it's the best thing for acting too.
Yeah.
Like, take a masterclass in TV combat. I recommend.
Oh my gosh, I need to try that. I'm gonna take your recommendation on that for sure. What's your go-to comfort show or movie?
I love Gilmore Girls, and I've been watching since it's fall again.
Oh my gosh, perfect timing.
I hadn't seen it until this year, which I know is crazy because everyone, it's like a yearly watch for a lot of people. Right. But I just finished it, and I loved every second of it, and I watch it all over again.
Oh
so Gilmore Girls, I also love The Wilds. I don't know if anyone's seen that. It's a great show. It's on Amazon Prime. And then favorite movie, I've always loved Devil Wears Prada.
That's
I love
my
that
favorite
show.
movie.
Meryl Streep's one of my favorite actresses, and Hathaway, like everyone in that.
Love
Emily
them.
Blunt is one of my favorite actresses too.
Yes,
all of those
she's
actresses together is absolutely iconic. And
Yeah.
I watched the musical when I went back to London this summer.
No way.
It just started out in the West End, and I watched it with my grandma and my mama, my mum's mum, and I loved it.
That is so awesome. I love The Devil Wears Prada. I can watch that movie like
it's so good
every day.
It's so classic.
It's so good. It's such a classic. Best movie of all time
that I've watched or that I've acted in
that you think is the best movie of all time.
Best movie of all time. Oh my goodness.
It's a tough one. There's so many.
I'm like, what movie? Best movie of all time. You know what? Let me think. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a horror movie that I think is like the best horror.
Okay,
it's called Greta, and it's starring Chloe Grace Moretz and Isabel Huppert, and it is so well made. And there is a particular scene, I don't want to spoil it because there's a lot of jump scares in it. It's not so much scary, it's more the jump scares. But there's a scene in it where the main woman, Isabel Huppert's character, she kills someone, and then there's a scene where you see her dancing around this piano, but you just see her feet. And then you see it's like a crescendo like piano music.
Oh wow!
And it keeps getting louder and louder.
Yeah.
And things like that. It's just the cinematography in that movie was so good that I recommend watching that. I think it's one of the greatest horror movies. Yeah.
I love that.
Kind of a random answer, but
let's see. What is who actually is your dream actor and dream actress to work with?
Oh my gosh, this is so hard. Dream actress, Meryl Streep. I feel like I've already said that, but
yes.
Meryl Streep all the way. She's absolutely iconic. I think she's incredible. I also think Joey King's amazing. I think doing something with Joey King would be amazing because also she's kind of around my age group, so that could be really fun. She's very inspiring. And then dream actor. I have I have so many.
Yeah.
I've always loved Chris Evans. I think Chris Evans great. Yeah.
He's amazing.
Or like Timothy Chalamet. I think he's incredible too.
Yes.
He's in so much. Or Louis Partridge.
Oh
Love
my
Louis
gosh.
Partridge. Love
All
him in Enola
amazing
Holmes.
actors.
Yeah, so great.
All amazing. Well, Jamie, this has been so much fun.
Thank you for
thank you
having
so
me.
much for coming in. Make sure you guys follow Jamie on all of her socials and keep up with all of her exciting projects and work she has going on, and check out her vlogs of her UCLA life. I'm really excited to see all of those as well. So thank you guys again for listening, and this has been Said What I Said with Talin, and until next time, bye.
Bye, guys.
The mic is hot, the takes are real, Talin is here. Welcome to Said What I Said. From Hollywood to your headphones, she's bold, she's raw, she's Talin. And this is Said What I Said.
Said what I said with Talin.